Welcome back, folks. If you've just joined us, we're tuned into Cape Rugby TV, of course, and very quick thank you to our sponsors, Score Energy Drinks, for coming on board with Cape Rugby TV, and then, of course, CyberSmart, your internet service provider. Don't go anywhere. A little bit later in the show, we will be doing a Score Energy Drinks competition where you can win for yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks. But without further ado, we managed to catch up with the second half of that game between Primrose and Villagers. There you have it. Welcome back, folks. Of course, that was the highlights of the second half between Primrose and Villagers. Walid, I'm going to take this one to you very quickly. I mean, it looks like some really good rugby from both sides. Are you happy with what you guys achieved on the afternoon?
No, it was a good test of us. I think Villagers ended 5th last year on the Super League A. Although it was their first game, they've also retained most of their team of last year and added to it. So I thought it was a good outing for us. I thought the first half we were in it. The second half, they ran a bit away with us, especially they gained dominance in the scrums and the lineouts. The physicality and intensity counted, but for us, coming up from Super League C, it was a good test for us. We know what we need to do to be competitive in Super League B, and in the circle after the game, the coach announced that his intention is for us to go for the title this year. I don't know if the whole Exco agrees with him, whether we're ready for that, but he and the squad look ready for that. So, you know, we've got better depth this year than we had last year. We've got a big first squad. You know, where we are struggling a bit though is with our under-20s. You know, we've had a very good under-20 setup for the last couple of years, but then we've now got a cycle where most of the under-20 players have now become too old, and our under-19 players are too young. So we've got about 50 players at the under-19, and our under-20 squad is looking a bit thin. So we probably need to bolster that between now and when the season starts at the end of April. Yeah, that's probably the only area.
Well, things definitely happening down at Primrose, and I'm sure the guys at Kraaifontein, we've heard them say that they're going for the title, may have something to say about that, but of course it'll all unfold in the league as things progress. Speaking of Super League A, I'm now joined by Liewellyn, who is the backline coach of Branckenfell. And Liewellyn, firstly, welcome to Cape Rugby TV.
Thanks, Morgan. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I mean, let's cut straight to it. I mean, Super League A, tough feat for Branckenfell, of course, as always, as Super League A is.
Definitely.
Where's Branckenfell at? How are things going, and how's your pre-season been so far?
So, it was a hard 7 to 8 weeks of pre-season. Trials have been done. We did a camp last week with a squad of about 45 guys that we selected. And yeah, this weekend we have our first friendly against Hamilton's.
Okay, tough friendly to go. The Super League A champions as your first friendly. That should be rather interesting. You know, I spoke a little bit earlier in the show, I think it was to Simperia, about, player retention, recruitment and so forth. What does it look like down at Branckenfell? Have you guys been happy with what you have down there?
We did lose a few guys, obviously. I think this year was the craziest year with players shifting clubs everywhere, but our goal was to get Branckenfell guys back to Branckenfell, which we've done. So we've got a great quality of players that came along. It's just the quantity is not as much as last year, but the quality has picked up.
Yeah, I mean, Branckenfell is a great catchment area for plenty of rugby players, and you know, knowing club rugby for a fair amount of years, a lot of players in the Branckenfell area actually drive big distances to go and play at other clubs. So,
yes.
I mean, that is, JP is a big advocate for it, and so am I. But getting players back to play in their catchment area, I think, is of utmost importance when it comes to club rugby in the Western Cape in general.
Yes.
And so it's great to hear that Branckenfell have adopted this attitude because I think it may not take, it's not going to be an overnight success, but I think it'll definitely, as the wheel of change starts to take place, I think Branckenfell may find themselves in very good stead.
Yes, our theme for this year is Bracky DNA. So we want the core of Branckenfell to join, and we want our community guys going the full length of what they can do.
Fantastic. Let's then discuss your preseason friendlies. I mean, you've chosen, again, I was talking previously on the show, we were talking about whether you pick and choose your friendlies, who do you go, or, do you want to win games? Is it the sort of the style of rugby you play more important? Branckenfell, you guys are playing Hamilton's this weekend. That should be a handful. I mean, what is your thinking around the preseason friendlies?
So with the amount of quality players that we do have, we wanted to give everyone a fair chance. We first have Hamilton's this weekend, we have False Bay next weekend, then we have Van der Stel the weekend after, then it's an off weekend, and then we end off with Tygerberg at Tygerberg.
Quite interesting. I see you've chosen all Super League A sides. I mean, and you're going to find them, you're going to play them probably later on in the season again, of course, as well.
Yes.
Was that your thinking? Did you want to play Super League A sides? I mean, did you not want to potentially go next door to Kraaifontein and maybe pick up an easy victory, maybe? I mean, if that's what what was your thinking around where you guys are at and the games you want to play? For
us, it's always, we want to see where we're at. So we want the top guys that's been in the top 6 for a long period of time, and it's Van der Stel coming in with a bang. We want to see where they're at. So obviously we went, and especially for the players, giving them a chance, see how they tier up to the guys that we're playing, and see which level are they at.
Well, it's quite an interesting approach. I mean, you guys, did you choose a similar? Did you have a similar approach? I know you're now on the back end, so you're speaking in hindsight. But I mean, would you say that you chose a similar approach, or what was your thinking?
Yes, no, definitely we went for strength. We played Abbotsdale. They won the SVD Championship last year, so that was a good test of us. Then Belhaar also in the Super League B, although Belhaar struggling a bit with numbers, but I mean it's a Super League B team. And then of course the Super League A team. And then after the Ramadan, we've also got lined up another Super League A team to play. So we want to test ourselves against the teams that are playing higher than us, measure ourselves so that when we meet Kraaifontein and the other team, CPUT, later in the season, we're ready for it. The other thing I wanted to say about Branckenfell, which is commendable, is that they've also invested a lot in the youth rugby. Not all the Super League A teams are, and I think that will stand them in stead a lot. I mean, we've seen the benefits of that at Primrose with our under 19s coming through the under 20s, and they will start reaping the benefits of that going forward. So I think that's a massive investment for them, and well done to them. More teams in the northern suburbs should invest in youth rugby. I know there's a lot of schools that play, but not all the schools play on a Saturday. So.
No, that is, I have to actually add to what Walid is saying there. Branckenfell Juniors really is doing fantastically well. I've got a couple of friends actually whose sons are playing down at the Branckenfell Juniors, so it is great to see. And then of course we've spoken about this already, but I know the fixtures are now out. Super League A is hotly contested, so is Super League B, to be fair. You happy with what your fixtures? Not that you can change it now, it's a bit too late, but I mean, is Branckenfell happy with what their preseason, or not their preseason, what their actual league fixtures look like for the year?
I think our split is quite fairly done. So we don't have a long period off. We're not active for a long period of time. But we start our league on the 5th of April against a derby against Lubbe. So that's how we start. Then it's Easter weekend, then we play Marty. So it's definitely not the, how can I say, the easiest starts. But yeah, obviously the preseason is there to prepare us for that bang.
Yeah, Branckenfell going to have their hands full, of course, in Super League A. Folks, we're that time again where we've got to take a quick ad break. But before we go to the break, I'm going to say thank you to these two gentlemen. Of course, Walid Brown, thank you so much, and all the best for what's to come in Super League B.
No, absolutely. We're happy to be back in Super League B, and I hope to be competing at the top of the league. And good luck to everybody for the rest of the season. Thank you.
And then Liewellyn, to you too, thank you so much. I mean, it was a short and sweet visit to us here at Cape Rugby TV, so let's hope to have you back in the near future. But all the very best. Super League A is going to be tough again this year.
Perfect. Thanks, Morgan. And just the other word, for anyone in the Branckenfell area, the junior guys, they have gone a bit up to senior. Any under 20s, more than welcome. Come join. It's a great system. We have Dani Gerber that also joined the club. That's also working with the juniors and the whole club. So it's a great environment at Branckenfell. Thank you so much.
There you have it, folks. Of course, Branckenfell, I can confirm. I live in the area, and what a great rugby club that is. And you'll be in good hands with Liewellyn Lubbe, of course, at the helm of the Backline. at Branckenfell. Folks, we're going to take an ad break, and when we come back from the ad break, we're going to chat to Gareth Jordan, of course, who is the head coach of Unimil, and then we're going to chat, of course, to our Mr. Club Rugby himself, Renzel Botman. We'll see what fixtures are taking place this coming weekend. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.